What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys figure unboxing and review video. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at Anakin Skywalker based on his appearance in Star Wars Attack of the Clones Episode 2. This figure is one that I have been waiting for so long. Number one, this is my first ever Anakin figure. Obviously, we have some Vader figures, and I know it's the same character, but you guys get where I'm coming from. We get my first look at a Jedi Anakin Skywalker. Very excited to go ahead and unbox him. This is the third figure that I get from this specific movie, the other two being Padme and also Mace Windu. So we'll be doing a lot of side-by-side comparisons to compare all three figures from this specific movie. I do want to let you guys know I did pick up this figure from Sideshow Collectibles. If you guys are interested in purchasing him, I will include the link to them. I do believe there is a wait list for him right now, but still, if you guys want to go ahead and join that wait list, I would include the link so that way you guys can purchase him if you want to. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing. First, get into the box review. So as you guys know, with Star Wars figures, we get pretty much the same design. We get a black box that really doesn't have a lot going on there. It is a pretty tall box, just like with Padme and with Mace Windu. And again, it's pretty much the same background. We get a black colored background that pretty much, again, doesn't have anything. We do get an image of Anakin, not the character, but the actual figure. So I'm happy about that. We get a Star Wars logo right there in the middle, and then of course the name of the figure. Sadly, like with other figures that we've been receiving from other movies or TV shows, we get a banner. We don't get that banner, unfortunately. And then on the right side and left side, we just get a black background along with a Star Wars logo and the name of the figure. This is very unusual for me, but this box is actually a little bit damaged. I'm not sure what must have happened whenever I got the figure, but as you guys can see right there at the top, it's pretty damaged. I really don't mind that as long as the figure is good to go. I really won't have any issues. But as you guys can see in the back, again, the same thing, black background, the name of the figure, and warning and legal information by Hot Toys that pretty much, again, just describes everything with the box. So now back to the front. Again, not a lot going on with it. So the good thing is that pretty much this cover is it, but Hot Toys does include a second kind of box, for the figure. So we'll take a look at that right now. Okay, so now this is what I'm talking about, and we got this same box with Mace Windu and with Padme again because of the same movie. It's like Hot Toys just takes the decision to do their own box underneath the main cover, just to kind of show what the actual box would have been had they been like in full control. So we get again an Attack of the Clones logo, the name of the figure, and pretty much a stamp of the 20th year anniversary of Attack of the Clones. Pretty much the background around it is kind of like all these stars showing the galaxy of it, and it's a pretty nice retro look to it. I really like it a lot. On both the left and right side, we're gonna get pretty much an image, kind of like this desert type of look to it, to represent Geonosis, which is where we have that fight between the clones and some of the Jedi characters. The Star Wars logo is in a black color that I really like a lot. And then on the back, we get warning and legal information once again, along with the Star Wars logo and the name of the figure. The name of the figure and the logo of the movie as well. So again, because Hot Toys includes the warning and legal information, it's kind of like them telling us again that this is what they would have done had they been in full control of the whole decisions. Again, I think Lucasfilms has a requirement where they have to have the same box for each figure. On the left side, we get an image of the figure again, the Star Wars logo, the background showing Geonosis, the name of the figure, and a long paragraph kind of describing the figure the character along what I guess the purpose of the character throughout the whole movie. So feel free to pause if you guys want to go ahead and do that. On the bottom of the box, we get a Star Wars logo with no stars at it at all. And then as you guys can see right there, I was lifting pretty much the main cover of the box. Here at the top, we get again the name of the movie. Not the name of the movie, but the name of the franchise with those stars showing the galaxy. So if you guys lift the main cover, pretty much you guys get once again that continuation of the Geonosis background along with the name of the figure at the bottom. So I am really in love with this second box. It looks amazing. Wish they would have made, they would have made this one the main box, but I think it will do for now. Okay, the figure now. So pretty much the figure itself, now we have this plastic covering with a lot of accessories. This is more than we usually get for any Star Wars figure, so that is a good thing, and I cannot wait to take a look at all of those accessories. We do get the two lightsabers, so really excited to see the lighting effects on it and how they look on the figure. So as I remove that main cover up, the plastic cover, let me go ahead and take a look at the figure for the first time. A lot of different opinions with this guy, so obviously I'll give my own and I'll compare it to those those opinions by you guys. Looking at the figure for the first time, honestly, I really like it a lot. I'm liking what I see right now. That head sculpt looks great, and that's why whenever we did the figure release preview, I wanted to hold my full thoughts until I got the figure, because right now the head sculpt looks much better than what it did on those promo pics by Hot Toys. The suit itself, well, not the suit, right, but the whole wardrobe, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I am noticing some pleather, and that is not a good thing. But at least I'm very happy with the result of that face sculpt, which we will talk about more in detail a little bit later on. So off to a good start with the figure. As you guys know, we'll start with the accessories. We'll review the figure in full detail. We'll do a couple of side-by-side comparisons, and then of course we'll do posing and final thoughts at the end of the video. Okay, so we get to the accessories. As you guys can see, we have a little bit more going on than your typical Hot Toys figure. We don't get a lot of things, but you know, we get, I think, good enough things for the figure. So we first get to the display base. This background, or this, I guess, flooring that they chose for the display base is the same one that we have for Padme. So it's supposed to be the flooring of that factory scene where he and Padme are pretty much stuck. We do get the normal nameplate, Star Wars and Anakin Skywalker, and then we get your typical crotch grabber that will pretty much hold the figure together. So not an issue with the display base. It's something different. Finally, with these display base, we always get the same thing, but finally we got something different. Again, as I mentioned before, the flooring of that scene. And then these two things right here are supposed to be kind of like roll wheels, I guess, if I can call that. They're supposed to go attached to the display base. Unfortunately, there really isn't any type of magnet onto them that can really hold on to them like together, but at least, you know, it gives it a different look. So will I, you know, pose these with the figure? I don't think I will, but just kind of know that those go on the figure itself to kind of show that flooring, you know, continuing, kind of rolling over. So not mad at all about that. We do get also Anakin's robot arm. So as you guys know, Anakin had his regular arm pretty much broken, or I guess torn apart by Count Dooku. So this is what pretty much he uses to go ahead and connect that hand, and I really like the effects of it. I like the coloring of that gold part. It looks really, really good. And then again, so this is an option with the right hand that we can go ahead and attach it onto the figure, but I love all the cables and all of the mechanical things going on around that arm. Will I try it on the figure? We'll see, right? I'm not sure about it, but we'll see if that's something that I want to you know, put on the figure when I pose it. And then now get into the regular hands. So I gotta tell you guys, I've seen a lot of human hands displayed by Hot Toys. These have to be the best hands I have ever seen by Hot Toys. Just looking at all the work that they did on it, the texture, the vein work, the skin lines, the posing, everything is just absolutely amazing. These have to be the best hands I've ever seen Hot Toys create. Again, just look at all the skin lines whenever it shows movement, like between the fingers and all that. It is absolutely amazing. As good of a hands as I have ever seen. I'll probably have to check out other figures just to make, you know, that final decision whether these are the best hands I've ever seen. But without question, and this is rare for me, the hands are my favorite accessory that comes with the figure. I'm really in love with all the skin texture and work that they've done with it, so they look absolutely amazing. And just know again that the two other hands are pretty much just kind of wide open hands that can be showed to use the force, and the other ones are just pretty much regular relaxed hands for the figure. And then the other hand, so this is what I was talking about. So right here with the fist closed, just look at the skin work, the skin lines that are, you know, that are painted by Hot Toys. It's just absolutely amazing. So the two on the side are the ones that came with the figure, which is just pretty much closed fist, and then the ones on the right are just to hold on to that lightsaber, to its lightsaber. Thankfully, we do get two hands because obviously the figure comes with two lightsabers, so it would make sense for them to go ahead and include two. So these are the other hands that come with the figure. Again, just very, very happy with the skin work. My favorite accessory of the whole figure, which is of course those hands. So we get a total again of 8 hands for the figure to pose. And then to the lightsaber effects, I can't lie to you guys, I'm starting to get tired of these effects. Number one, whenever we connect them to the lightsabers that is supposed to turn on, they really don't light up at all. I know that it's supposed to be showing motion, but if maybe they turned on like as bright as possible, maybe I would like these accessory this effect pieces. But it comes to a point where I'm tired of them and I really don't like them for any figure at all. So I wish they would make some type of change with future figures. And then we get 2 lightsabers, as I mentioned before. So obviously when he finds Dooku, he takes over Obi-Wan's lightsaber. We get the left one and the right one. These are just to pretty much pose it on his belt, or whenever you guys want to go ahead and post a figure, you know, to have it in its display case, and you guys don't like that cable being shown, we can pretty much use these lightsabers. The left one is supposed to be the blue lightsaber, and the right one is the green one, if I'm not mistaken. I like the fact that both lightsabers are different, so you can tell apart from each. So that is a good detailing part by Hot Toys. And then we do get a cloak for him, which of course he has throughout the whole movie. Well, not the whole movie, right, but a lot of parts of the movie. So I'm really liking the fabric of this cloak. It does have its wiring right here on these 2 parts in the front, and then also on the sides as well. It has its wiring, and then of course also on the hood itself. The fabric of it is this kind of like rough type of it feels like an actual cloak, so I'm really happy about that. The only unfortunate part about the cloak, and this is not a complaint towards Hot Toys, because this is accurate, it doesn't have any type of sleeve. So I feel like whenever I try to post it on the figure, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be coming apart a lot. Again, it's supposed to be this way, so it's not a complaint towards Hot Toys that they did it wrong. It's just that it will be a little bit harder, right? But I'm glad that it comes with this. I'll see how I can pose it on the figure a little bit later on in the video. In the video. And then now the final part of the accessories. I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. I do have the light box connected to the lightsaber, so I do want to go ahead and connect it. Once again, I'm having to use my own USB cable because Hot Toys cannot seem to include their own. As many figures as we've had with USB cables, they just won't include one, and it's been dozens of figures. It comes to a point where it's like, do they expect us to buy a USB cable for every single figure? I guess they do, right? So turning on the lightsabers right now. Again, I wanted to go ahead and get this out of the way already because this is usually something that I'm not happy with. Looking at it right now, obviously in person and looking at it in camera will be a different thing. I like the effects, but still in all, they're not where we need them to be. It's better than your typical character. For example, if I compare it to Mace Windu, it's better than that, but still in all, it's not as bright as I would have wanted it to be. So for me, it's like having that cable just be shown around the arm is not worth it for me. I'd rather just have the lightsaber, you know, completely off, but at least there won't be any cables being shown whenever I post the figure. So once again, with the lightsabers, not as good as it gets. Hot Toys keeps coming up short with the lighting effects. There just has to be a drastic change going on with them, because every single lightsaber does not turn on as it should. And just for me, very disappointed. Well, not very disappointed, right? But still in all disappointed, because I really want to post a figure with the correct, you know, lighting, and we just don't get that opportunity with Anakin again. Okay, so we get to Anakin now, where we pretty much get to talk about this guy in full detail. First, starting off with the face sculpt. So with the head sculpt, I had heard a lot of opinions. I think at the beginning, whenever they had first announced the figure for pre-order, I saw a lot of negative opinions. Also, when we did the figure release preview and we have those final promo pics, same thing. Me personally, honestly, I'll be honest, I think this is a great head sculpt, a great head sculpt. I see Hayden Christensen, especially a young Hayden Christensen, from all angles. The hair piece is fantastically sculpted. It's like spiky hair but going to the back. It's very nicely painted. We get his ponytail there as well, and you guys can see how the hair is pretty much getting close to that ponytail to make it seem like he's kind of, you know, collecting its hair to do that ponytail. Also, he has the Padawan braid on his left side, and what you guys can do also is remove this half part of the hair, which is not even that noticeable on camera, and that's where you guys can go ahead and move the rotating eyeballs. And by the way, to me, that is a big plus. The rotating eyeballs, I think to me, that is a big key to this head sculpt and making it great. So I am really a big fan of how it looks. It looks absolutely amazing. The skin texture is great. It's completely seamless. And again, as I mentioned before, I can see Hayden Christensen from every single angle. I like the expression. So this is a great head sculpt without a doubt, in my personal opinion. Let me go ahead and do the rotating eyeballs, which we have right now here. So with the rotating eyeballs, to me, it is a must to adjust. I think if you guys leave the expression with his eyes just looking straight, it does seem kind of dull and it's like there's no expression. But to me, the key is to move the eyes, making him look upwards, so that way he has kind of like this angrier and more serious expression. So as you guys can see here, he looks absolutely amazing. I really love that head sculpt, without question. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with that. Now the wardrobe, we have different layers. So at the very bottom, we have pretty much this kind of really light brown I guess robe that is underneath everything else. We do have also his brown robe that pretty much the fabric is exactly the same as Mace Windu's robe. The fabric of it is very soft, and I really like the feel of it. It looks very legit. Underneath the arms, we get also the light brown sleeves that combined basically with that underneath robe that goes under each set of clothing. And then also the black part of it, I think it's called a tunic. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. That is pleather, which is very unfortunate. I despise pleather, and for some reason Hot Toys continues to use pleather, so that might be the only negative thing about this whole figure. The belt itself, same thing. It is made out of pleather, and it goes around this kind of like little part of clothing that combines with that brown fabric, so that goes around it. That's where you guys can pretty much connect the lightsaber, and it has different accessories as well. So the belt itself, I don't have any issues if it's pleather. It's just that tunic, as I mentioned before, that really looks different, and I don't like it at all. At the bottom, we have the pants as well. The pants are made out of a soft fabric. They're supposed to basically go combined with that light brown robe that is underneath the whole regular wardrobe. No issues with that whatsoever. To be honest, the whole suit itself, or I guess I'm sorry, the wardrobe, I have no issues with it at all. Just that pleather part. Same thing with the boots. So I like the coloring and the texture. It's kind of like this old school type of look to them, but it's also pleather. And what I'm scared about is, again, whenever we pose the figure, those boots might end up breaking. Although there's like that small little belt that is closing the boots that will kind of at least protect it from being damaged. So that is a positive, at least. With other figures, we don't get that. So the boots are more easier to get damaged, so thankfully we don't have that issue here. But still in all, I think the figure is amazing. It looks great. I love the head sculpt, the brown fabric to the actual robe, his hand pieces, everything else just looks absolutely amazing, except for that pleather with the black tunic that is just not it's just not a good look to it. And again, if we bend that tunic in any way, it will get damaged, so I am very afraid of that. Let me go ahead and bring the other robe or its clothes. So the cloth itself, as I mentioned, whenever we were talking about the accessories, I'm gonna have a hard time posting that thing because there are no sleeves, which again is accurate to the movie. I just don't know how to pose it. I wanted to kind of put the hood on top of its head, even though that's not an actual look to him in the movie. It does have wiring on it, but because there's no wiring in the middle, it is very tough to pose. And again, not having sleeves either is gonna make it very tough for me to pose it. So I'll be honest, I don't think I will include the actual robe or cloth itself onto the figure, because it's just going to be very hard to pose without the sleeves. But still in all, it is a good look as far as the texture and the way that it is made. According to Sideshow Collectibles, it's kind of like leather, right? I wouldn't really know that. If you guys can help me out on that. But still in all, I like the fabric of it. I like the look of it. It's just going to be very hard to pose in itself. I know that the hood is supposed to not be on top of his head, but behind it. But I just wanted to kind of try that look to make it seem like a little kind of a evil slash Anakin. But again, just wanted to kind of try it on, to each his own. Maybe you guys will have an easier time posting that thing with the figure. So now I did want to go ahead and touch base on the articulations of the figure. So this figure does feel a little bit looser than other figures that I've gotten from Hot Toys. So starting off with the legs, to me the legs feel very easy to move. We don't have any articulations underneath its boots, and I'm totally fine with that. Now the feet itself at the ankles do move a little bit. Again, that little belt that is closing in the boot does make it difficult, so there's not that much articulation, as you guys can see on the boots, but I think it's plenty enough to at least make the figure feel natural whenever we do pose them. The boots themselves, again, so we can pretty much bend it on the knees onto the back, although you guys do not want to bend it that much because of that black tunic, which again I don't think we'll have the need to do so, but just kind of an example. The knee, the leg does go up to the front till there, and then with the knee it bends all the way till there. So again, as I mentioned before, I think good enough for me to be able to pose the figure. What else can we check? Also to the sides, the legs do move a little bit as well, all the way till there. pretty much. Could probably try a little bit more, but I don't want to damage the figure in any way at all. As you guys can see, sometimes the clothing could kind of limit it, but not as much as you know, as what we think. So I think we should be fine. The figure does move sideways, but not a lot. Actually, I'm sorry, no, let me correct myself. No, it does move a lot. So it seems like the top half is kind of just connected to the bottom half, so we're able to pretty much flip the whole top of the body on its legs, and then it does go all the way to the front tail there and to the back there. So again, these are just examples that I wanted to show. Obviously, we're not going to need that whenever it comes to posing the figure, right? But I just wanted kind of to show the limits that this figure has. The arms do go all the way up till there, so that is a good thing. I like the fact that the clothing is not intervening in any way, so that's good. And then the arms do go all the way to the front till there. You guys kind of have to adjust it a little bit weird because it is weirdly connected on the shoulder. And then to the back, it is gonna, let me try. So the back all the way, it's gonna go all the way to there. So as you guys can see, that first time I tried to move it, it was moving to a weird direction because of how weirdly it is connected onto the shoulders, but still in all, it gets the job done. And then on the elbows, it goes all the way till there, so that is a good thing. The last thing that I did want to go ahead and try, and by the way, the hands, as you guys always know, they're connected to the wrist, so they will pretty much turn in any way you want to. The head sculpt, it is super, I'm gonna say super adjustable. So as you guys can see, we can pretty much move the head to the back and to the front a lot, to the sides as well. Again, since it's connected onto a ball joint to the body, it is pretty easily rotated. Also, you guys can pretty much flip the whole head around. So you guys have a lot of options when it comes to the head because it's completely seamless and connected onto the ball joint by the neck. So I really like the articulations of this guy. I know it's going to be an easy time for me to go ahead and pose them. No issues with it at all, right? Like the fact that I have a lot of flexibility when it comes to the figure. And now for a couple of side-by-side comparisons. So on the left side, we have Anakin from Attack of the Clones. On the right side, we have Vader from the Kenobi series. Could you imagine telling somebody who hasn't watched Star Wars that this is the same person? We have Anakin and also Anakin obviously becoming Vader. Like, just, you know, I can't help but, like, just looking at these two guys, I cannot believe that the person on the left becomes the person on the right eventually in the movies. Talk about a great storyline and a great, I guess, plot twist. But indeed, we have the same character here in person. Obviously, Vader is much taller, but because of its of its suit, but both head sculpts are absolutely amazing. I like the fact that both have rotating eyeballs, so we get a lot of options when it comes to posing the figure. Again, I just can't help it, right? Like, I can't believe Anakin becomes that on the right side. Just look at the skin texture, how one just looks like a normal skin texture, and then the one on the right completely pale and white with all the cuts and his red eyes and things like that. It's just unbelievable storyline, and what a character story for Anakin. So but again, happy to have both figures. Glad to have finally a Vader to match up with my Anakin. Obviously, I will pose them close to each other but not together. But yeah, this will be the first side-by-side comparison, Vader himself with Anakin, which is of course the same character. And then also we have Padme and Anakin. So obviously these two are a couple at this point, and I will definitely pose them together. I actually have a pose here at the end of the video with them together side by side. So obviously, Anakin is taller than Padme, and I like the height between both of the characters. I think it's exactly the same as in the movie. Both figures have a lot in similar. They both have their different pieces of clothing and different sets of clothing. The box design was exactly the same, and as well as the display base. So I think that pretty much what Hot Toys was going for is to have them both on that same scenery in that droid factory. So here we both have them with each of their accessories. Glad to know that both figures have their rotating eyeballs. I think Anakin's head sculpt is better than Padme's. I think Padme is a good one, but not a great one. But for me, Anakin has definitely a great head sculpt. So to me, he is the better figure out of these two, in my personal opinion. Last but not least, we have him with Mace Windu, which also is from this same movie. So as I mentioned before, the material that Hot Toys used to make both the undersuit and the actual robe is exactly the same. As you guys can see, the color texture is exactly the same, and then the pants right there, as you guys can see underneath it, even though it's a different coloring, it is exactly the same. And then also the underneath tunic, right, or clothing, whatever you guys want to go ahead and call it, is exactly the same. Even the belts are exactly the same, again, just a different coloring. So these figures are very similar. It still shocks me how tall Mace is compared to Anakin, because I think Anakin is a pretty tall figure, but Mace is even taller. My only complaint here is that how is it that we get rotating eyeballs with both Anakin and Padme, but not with Mace? All three figures were released around the same time. Again, they were all for the 20th year anniversary of Attack of the Clones, but for some reason we don't get a rotating eyeballs with Mace Windu. To me, that is an issue, and I thought that Mace had the worst head sculpt out of all the three figures in my personal opinion. But let me know in the comments if you guys agree with me or not. But this would be the third side-by-side comparison. Glad to know that I have all these three figures for the movie. One figure was missing though, and that to me was not Marvel, excuse me, but Star Wars Jesus, and that is Obi-Wan himself from that specific movie. Hopefully we get him at some point later on in time. Okay, guys, to end this review for Anakin Skywalker from Attack of the Clones, I am very happy with what we got from Hot Toys, even though to me the pleather is an issue with that black tunic and its boots. I think the belt closing in on those boots does make it at least better and easier for that material not to tear apart, in my personal opinion. So that is a good thing, and at least the boots are not that loose as well on the ankles. But to me, the best thing about this head sculpt is both the head sculpt and, the best thing about this figure is the head sculpt and also the hand pieces. The skin texture was on point for both of them. I think that the expression and the rotating eyeballs made it great. The hair piece along with the braid and the ponytail is what makes it even better for me. So without question, we got a great figure in my personal opinion. Again, there are certain things that can be better, but I don't think that there's anything that really makes me say the figure is not bad. But again, that is just my personal opinion. I really want to know what you guys have to say about this figure, so let me know in the comments what you guys think about the head sculpt, if you guys picked them up, and if you guys want to pick them up. If you haven't, there is a waitlist on Sideshow Collectibles, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will include a link to them, so that way you guys can go ahead and purchase them and get him, because to me this is a must get. If you're a Star Wars fan, it is, to me, till this day, the best Anakin figure that we have ever seen. Even though it's my first one, I have seen images either from from other figures like Revenge of the Sith, his Clone Wars look with the Hayden head sculpt, right? That old one. Obviously we have other figures coming up, like the Artisan Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, and also his look from that Ahsoka series with the Clone War armor. So we have other Anakins coming up, but as far as the ones that we've received right now, I do think this is the best Anakin that we have seen up to date, in my personal opinion. But again, please feel free to let me know in the comments if you guys agree or not. So to end the video, guys, as always, want to thank you for supporting the channel. Every time that you watch a video, like it or comment, it means the world to me, so I appreciate that. As I always like to say, if this is the first time that you're watching a video of mine, feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications bell, so that we are always updated anytime that I drop a Hot Toys unboxing video or a figure preview on this channel. A reminder that I am on Instagram and TikTok, where I post daily images of my figures. Feel free to follow me on both websites, so that way you'll stay updated anytime that I do drop a figure or a image of a figure or any updates on my channel. So for now, guys, this is going to be it for this Anakin Skywalker from Attack of the Clones unboxing and review. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.